something that we can use. Okay, good evening and welcome to today's Hangout, the very last Hangout for the year. And we thank God for bringing us so far.
Hello, I can't hear you. It's breaking. It's frozen, actually.
Okay, but I can hear you perfectly fine over here. Am I still breaking, ma'am?
I think it
It's
is
not.
an
It's
area.
okay
I
now.
can hear you clearly. I think it's from my end.
Okay, ma'am. I suppose it's from your network because I can hear you perfectly well. But all the same, the main thing is going to be practical, okay? So I mean, and it's going to be visual. So if you stick with me, you will see the visuals. And I think it will still give you an idea of what to do, even if I'm breaking. But I'm sure the network will hopefully sort itself out before we even go very far. So I will share my screen now and bring up a book that I'm helping a little girl to write. I think she's just a primary, I think JSS1 student. So I will share my screen now and then we'll use that her book. It's no problem. She's my client. It's not going to be a problem. Share her book and then we'll paginate that her book and insert a table of content. Okay. Ma'am, okay, let me just admit this person. All right. So if you can hear me, ma'am, please confirm for me if you can see my screen. You said your I mean my audio is breaking, but I don't know if you can hear me now. If you can just help me put a 1 on the chat so that I will know you are viewing my screen.
Hello, sir. I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Or all right,
Hello.
can you see the screen I'm sharing? A book
Yes.
with some
Yes,
pictures
yes, I
there.
can see it.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
So let me just zoom in. Okay. All right. This is a book I'm writing. Okay. No, I'm not writing. I'm helping a JSS1 student to write. Okay. It's just a manuscript as it is now. No pagination, no table of contents, and the book is not even finished yet. But I'll just use this as the sample of what to use today to paginate as well as insert a table of content. Now, pagination does not require a book that has chapters. Okay. You know, children's book, this is actually a children's book and it can go out like this as it is without chapters. We typically call this, we call this a typical storybook. No chapters, just the story. And you can paginate it. But when you want to insert a table of contents, then it means that book must have chapters. Okay. So now, for
Oh,
this
man.
book,
I can say I'm listening, son. I will beat you.
okay, oh,
Sorry,
somebody's mic
sorry.
is on.
I'm sorry.
Please, no problem, sir. Just help us mute. Thank you. So pagination is simple. Table of contents is the one that requires a little bit of technicality. Now, if I want to paginate this book, all I have to do is to come to this insert section here where my cursor is moving. And I simply say insert. And
Okay, yeah,
then
for the pagination, I'm okay with the pagination.
oh, you're okay with that. It's a table of
It's a table
contents.
of contents. Yeah, and then like
Okay.
when you edit it, for
Mm,
it to edit properly, because if you don't go through it, it doesn't correct the numbering. Yeah,
okay.
that's one. And then two, the last thing Bishop did was that's something I didn't fully because I had network problem where he did the Roman numbers and then he started the
Okay.
page with number one for the page
Oh,
where the story started.
all right.
But he
I get
used the
you.
Roman numbers for, yeah.
On the same document, you have some pagination in Roman numerals and some pagination in Latin numbering style, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No problem. So let's give this book some chapters. Let's just say chapter 1. Okay. Let's give the next one. We are just assuming now. Chapter 2. Okay, let me just correct this. Sorry. Okay, now let's see. All right. Let me come here. Let me give this. Let me call this chapter 3. Let's do about 4 chapters. And then where this page 4 starts, let me just say chapter 4. Okay. All right. So assuming I have a chapter 4, a chapter 3, a chapter 2, and a chapter 1. So what I will need to do, first of all, is to break the end of each chapter into a page break. Why this is important is that sometimes when a chapter ends on a page like this, usually you will not have chapter 2 just down here, for example. No, you won't have chapter 2 looking like this. Chapter 2 is going to start on a fresh page. Now, people who don't know how to format will assume that all they have to do is to take their cursor to where chapter 2 starts and then begin to hit their paragraph button this way and push it until it goes down. Now, if you do this, what you are telling Microsoft Word is that this chapter 2 here and this chapter 1 here are all on the same page. The only thing is that you have a big gap here. So you don't shift chapter 2 down by hitting your paragraph button. No. Now let me bring chapter 2 up. Let me even delete this picture and just bring chapter 2 up. Then you see what I will do next. Okay. So assuming I have my manuscript this way, terribly formatted. I have chapter 1 up here with some text and then immediately chapter 2 and its own text. It will be wrong for me to hit the enter button this way to push it down. So to take chapter 2 to a fresh page so that the app does not recognize it on the same page, it will recognize it as starting on a different page. I will place my cursor in front of chapter 2. And then I'll come back to my layout tab. This is the layout. You see it up there is the 6th item on the tab here. And then I'll go to the breaking section. And then I will say, put a page here. So it moves chapter 2 automatically to the next page. Okay. And then whatever I do on this page, it will never affect where chapter 2 starts. The problem with you hitting your enter key to move chapter 2 down or to move any chapter down is that when you come back to the previous chapter and you add some more text, it will move the chapter further below. So you will come to that chapter and then discover above it you have space that you don't need. So the best thing to do is to always insert an entire new page. So I'll go to where I have chapter 3 and do the same. Place my cursor just in front of chapter 3. Come to the layout, go to the breaking section, and then insert a page. Okay?
Okay.
If I'm not sure that page 4 is on, the same has been applied to page 4, I do the same thing too. Okay. And if a page has been inserted there, it will give you a very big page equivalent to a whole page. All you have to do is to backspace. Okay. All right. So now I have chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and chapter 4 on 4 separate pages.
Okay,
So I
like
am
what
good.
I do is
Yes.
I normally press Control Enter So that's not right. Control Enter
Control.
to start a new page on to start on a
Okay,
new page.
okay, let's go back to this page insert section here. Okay, Control Enter. Well, it could be right. It could be a shortcut to inserting a new page, which I'm not even aware of myself.
Okay.
Yes. So, but I'll check that out also. But usually this is the way I go for myself. But then you could be right. Control Enter could be a shortcut key to inserting a new page. It's possible. Okay. All right. So with my chapters on separate pages, now I'm ready to take my chapters to the template styling. The chapter styling template, and that is the tool I'm going to use to properly insert my table of contents so that my table of contents have links. There is a link linking my table of content to the pages where I actually have the chapters. You appreciate this more when you convert the document to a PDF file form. The moment you take your cursor to the table of contents, you just see that it's a link. You hit any of the chapters there, it will take you straight to the page where the chapter starts. Okay. So let's say I want to insert my table of content here. Maybe after the title, I have my pointer pointing here. I will just create a page, blank page. Good. This is the page where I would love to have my TOC there. So I'll now come back to my chapters. And you have to do this one after the other. First thing is to highlight the chapter. Of course, some chapters might have titles. This one, I just call it chapter 1. Some books might have a title, chapter 1, The Boy Who Drank Water. Maybe something like that, okay? But some books will not have a chapter title, to just be the name of the chapter. Whichever one, it doesn't matter. Let me just, okay, fine, no problem. Let me leave this on. Let me leave it. Chapter 1 has a title name. Okay, so I am going to select the chapter and the title name and highlight it this way. With the chapter highlighted, I will come to the Home tab here. And then to the right-hand side of my screen, I have the styling template, this one here. I hope you can see this, ma'am. Okay. And my styling template will look different from your own because of the way I have used mine before. Maybe I've customized mine before. Maybe I have even formatted some of the templates or deleted some. I can do anything I want with this. I can actually create a style if I want to here. See where I'm pointing at? This helps me create a style to suit my taste. I can choose to clear a particular formatting that I don't want out of my Microsoft Word entirely. It's all up to me. But typically, you should have a heading styling 1, a heading styling 2, a heading styling 3. And these are important because for some table of contents, you will have sub chapters still in the table of content. Maybe chapter 1, this, and then under chapter 1, you have sub chapters, and you still want them to reflect in your table of content. So if you have such kind of styling, that is where heading number 2, heading number 3, heading number 4 will come in use. For this one now, I can just simply pick heading number 1. Okay. And then I'll look for chapter 2, the same thing, highlight it, go to heading number 1 and select. Okay. And you see the chapter color is changing because the heading here is blue. Even the font styling is changing because the font styling here is different from the styling of the body of the text. So I'll go to chapter 3. The same thing. This chapter 3 looks bold and black and thick. But as soon as I select it and I insert it in the styling template, it changes. Boldness remains the same, but the color changes. And it's not the same as what I have here. No problem. I'm going to fix that. Next thing, I go to chapter 4. And I'll hit the template styling. Okay. So I will always pick the same styling that I picked for the first chapter. But now it's possible that I don't like this blue color. It's light, it's not conspicuous against a white background. It's not really legible, you know. I don't even like it. I can change all of that. So to format your template, all you have to do is to bring your cursor and place it on that heading styling that you adopted, and then right click. When you right click, a pop-up window comes up asking you, do you want to rename the template? Do you want to modify it? Do you want to do what and what? Do you even want to remove it from the gallery? No problem. The one that concerns us for now, for this class this evening, is this one, modify. The one that has an A icon and a pencil. And I'll hit on it, modify. Now, I can change the color of the font. It's actually blue. I can decide to make it a red if I want to. Okay. And I can decide to say, I don't want it plain, I want it bold. And then I'll select bold. And I'll say, I even want it italics. Fine. Anything I want. Even the font styling, if I don't want Calibri Light, because by default it comes as Calibri Light, I can go look for any text styling I want. Maybe, let me see. Okay, maybe ink free. Okay. And then when I am okay with what I want, I'll simply say okay. And there you go. All the chapters have been changed and everything is uniform now. Chapter 1, chapter 2, the same styling. Chapter 3, okay. Chapter 4 has not, okay, chapter 3 and 4, the changes have not been effected. No problem, I can do that manually. All I have to do is to highlight and bold it, and then highlight 4 as well and bold it. Now I have chapters 1, chapters 2, chapters 3, and 4 inside the chapter styling template. So now at this point, I am good to ask for a table of content. Okay. And to ask for a table of content, I come back to that page where I want to insert the table of content and simply place my cursor there. Then I will go to references. You won't find the table of content in insert. Most times that's the assumption. It is somewhere inside the insert tab because you are inserting it. But Microsoft gave it and placed it under references. So come to reference and click on the reference and then go to table of contents. Now, if you click the small arrow beside the table of contents, it will give you options. There are automatic table of contents in there. And this one looks this way. You have the heading. You have heading 2, a little bit indented. That's assuming you have chapter 1. Chapter 2 will shift to the side a little bit. You have this one that looks a bit fancy here too. You even have the one that I want you to take note of, which is the custom table of contents here. Because this one allows you to customize your table of content the way you want. So I'll go for custom table of content. Now, look at the window that popped up. It's telling me that this table of contents can display subheadings up to 3 levels here. Remember the explanation I gave earlier on, especially academic papers. You may have chapter 1 and then sometimes you see something like chapter 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, you know, flowing down that way. The more levels you have, the more chapters and subheadings that the table of content can take. I think the highest is 9. Okay. But even if you don't have up to 9 levels and you leave it at 9 levels, no problem. Here you have something we call the tab leader. The tab leader is what helps to link on your table of content, the chapter and the page. For some styling, it comes as dash, some as hyphen. You can choose to even leave it as none if you want to. Okay. And then I'll just say, okay. Now, here you go. This is my table of content. Okay, this is not on a fresh page. So let me go to this layout and just break this so that it goes to a new page. Good. So I have my table of content here. Okay. And I have chapter 1, I have chapter 2, I have chapter 3, I have chapter 4. That chapter 1 that we gave it a subtitle, a name, you can see it came up with the name, The Boy Who Drank Water. But watch something here. There is a chapter here that actually is the title of the book, This Wicked Stepmother. So what happened here is that this girl decided to select the title of her book and insert it in the template. Anything that you select and you insert it inside that chapter styling template, when you come to insert your table of content, it will appear. And if I take my cursor there, close to it, you see this small triangle pointing down. It's telling me that this sentence is inside the styling template, but I don't need it, okay? So all I have to do is to highlight it, go back to my home tab, go to the styling template, and simply say, make this normal. I don't want it inside the template, okay? But nothing has changed in the table of content. So I'll need to come back to the table of content and simply right click, and then I will say update the table of content. It will ask me, do I want to update just the page numbers only? If I'm okay with the structure, the only thing that has changed is the page numbers, then I'll say update the page numbers only. But in this case, I want to do away with the title, which starts at page 1, because I don't need it. It is not part of any chapter. So I will say update the entire table and okay it. And it's gone. So now I am left with my chapters proper. And though these chapters by default will usually come very tiny, about 10, it doesn't matter. I can choose to select the entire table and increase the font size if I so wish, or reduce it if it's too. I can even change the font styling as well. I can make it Arial narrow, I can make it Franklin Gothic, I can make it stencil if I want, okay? I think this answers partly one of your questions, but I'll come to that question where you have different pagination styling all in the same document. So let me just leave this as maybe under this styling, Gaduji, okay? So even inside the table of content, I can choose to highlight this chapter 1 only. For example, stop here and Control B and make it bold. Or leave it plain, choose the chapter title if I want, and make it bold. The page number, if I want, I can select it as well and even make it italics just for styling. If I don't want the chapter on the same line with the name of the chapter, I bring my cursor in front of the name of the chapter and simply hit my enter button, and it should go. Okay, I don't know why that didn't work this time. Okay, but it should. Okay, I'll figure out what I did wrong. But the idea here is that you can make your table of content as beautiful and as unique as you want. Just because you inserted the table of content doesn't mean you have to run with it the way Microsoft Word gave it to you. No, you can increase the size, you can change the font styling, you can change the color, you can do anything you want. And I can even place my cursor in front of this thing and simply say table of contents, okay? And just enter. So now I have my table of content. I can bold it, do anything I want with it. Okay. Now, your question, ma'am. How do I make, okay, this manuscript does not have pagination yet, but because we inserted a table of content, the table of content will still have to find a way to read the pagination for us. But let's insert the pagination so that we can change part of the pagination into a different format. That was the question you asked. So let me go and say, let's use this styling. Give our document pagination, and all pages have numbered now. They are numbered. So let me come out of the header and the footer. Good. So we have numbering from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all of that. Now, assuming this title, this place where I have the title of the book and the table of content, I do not want them in Greek or Latin styling font. I want them in Roman numerals. I don't want them in Greek numerals. But yet, in the same document, that's the question. How do I go about it? To do that, I will need to separate these two pages from any other page that comes after them. So even if you need 10 pages in Roman numeral style font, you need to separate those 10 pages from whatever number of pages comes after those ones. Now to do that, I will take my cursor back to this page, drop it anywhere after the table of content, and then go back to my layout, go to the breaking section, but this time around, I will not hit pagination. I will actually ask the document to insert a section break. That is, even though this is one document, but I want Microsoft Word to treat the document as if it is two different documents merged into one. So I am not just creating a page, but I am cutting the page from other pages or from the previous page I had, so that I can manipulate the pages before the one that I'm going to insert now and change whatever I want to change. So I will say insert a section break and start a section on the next page. Okay. Now here it is. Because initially I've inserted a page, it gave me two extras. It gave me an extra page, but it's not a problem. I'll just backspace. Now, between this page where you have the table of content and this chapter 1, there is a section break there. Chapter 1 and the table of contents, even though they are in the same documents, but they are not actually the same thing. So that means I can play around with the title page and the table of contents in such a way that whatever I will do there will not affect chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. But apart from inserting the section break, I will need to separate chapter 1 from these first two pages. Otherwise, anything I do to the first two pages will automatically be affected on chapter 1 and the rest of the things that come after chapter 1. But now, after inserting the section break, I will come to my pagination and double tap. Now, as soon as I double tap, there is this header here that normally you will not see it. It's called the header and footer, but now because I just tapped this, it appeared automatically in blue form. And take note, there is something here that says link to previous. And if you take your pointer there, is the previous cell to continue using the same header or footer. It means even though I inserted a section page, yet page 3 or chapter 1, you actually have the chapter 1 on page 3, is still linked to that table of content and the page before the table of content. So anything I do to page 3 will reflect on the table of content and the title page. But I don't want to do that because I want to go back to the title page and the table of content and change it to Roman numeral. So at this point, I'll tell Microsoft Word, don't link this to the table of content. Unlink it. Because I'm going to go back and do something different up there. So as soon as I unlink it, I come out of the header or the footer tab. Then I will go back to the table of content and hit the pagination. With that, now that I'm inside my pagination, I'll go to insert, go to the page number, and I'll say I want to format this pagination and click on it. And then the first thing that comes up is the number formatting. And there is a push button down here that if I hit it, it will give me pagination in all sorts of styles. Roman numeral, Greek numbering, Arabic, whatever it is, even the Roman numerals, do I want it capitalized? Do I want it small? Whatever. I pick the one I want, even ABC. It's not limited to Roman numeral styling only. Let me go with the small Roman numeral styling, and I will say OK. And now, there you go. Roman numeral 1, Roman numeral 2. Let's check what we have under chapter 1. Good. Chapter 1 is still in the Greek styling font. Okay. So that is how on the same document you change the pagination styling. Some pages can carry a different styling, others can carry another styling. But we still have a problem. Chapter 1 starts as page 3. And I want it to start as page 1. So I'll just come back to the pagination, double tap, go back to insert, go to the page number, and go back to formatting again. But this time around, because I have the styling the way I want it, I don't need to come here again. I'll simply come to this page numbering here and simply say, please start this page on 1 and OK it. And then it starts on page 1. So I have my pagination properly formatted. Now chapter 1 starts on page 1. Chapter 2 starts on page 2. Chapter 3 starts on page 4 because there's a picture here that belongs to chapter 2. You can see it. I'm good with this. Now let me go back to my table of content and check if everything is okay. Of course, everything is not okay. Previously, chapter 1 was on page 3. I corrected it to start on page 1, but the table of content is still showing page 3. So remember, we need to fix this. So all I have to do is to go back to my table of content, right-click it, and wait for the system. Okay, my system is a bit slow today. Good, right-click it. Then I'll go to the update field. That is, I want to update the table of content. Now, remember what we did earlier on. Do I want to update the page numbers only or the entire table? I think in this case, I'm only updating the page number. There's nothing wrong with the table. It's just the pagination that has changed. Chapter 1 used to be on page 1. Now it is on page, it used to be on page 3. Now it is on page 1. So I don't want to tamper with the styling of the table of contents. I only want the numbers changed. So I would say update page numbers only and leave it as it is ticked and OK it. And then there you go. it changes to what I currently have on the document. Okay, so do I answer your question, ma'am? Madam Salamatu, have I answered your question, ma'am? Is she around? Okay, because she was the one who asked the question that led to this. Okay. I don't think she's close to her system at the moment. But for her and for the rest of us, this is how you insert your table of content, your pagination, and even how you change some of the pagination styling inside the same document. You can have some as Roman numerals or ABC, and you can have the others as regular. You do that. And one thing with inserting a section break is that you can do anything with any aspect of the document, not just pagination. This particular Roman numeral 1 and 2 that are separated from where I have the chapter 1 under pages 1 and 2. Let me see. Let me try something. If I go to my layout and I say change the orientation to landscape, let me see what will happen. Okay. You see what happened? The page title and the table of content became landscape, while the rest of the document remain in portrait form. Okay. That's because as far as Microsoft Word is concerned, even though Roman numeral 1 and Roman numeral 2 are in the same document, it is treating them as separate sections of the same document. So that's how sometimes in some publications, you see 1 or 2 pages in landscape form, and then the remaining pagination continues in portrait form. So they have to insert a section break to help them customize that particular page that they want and to do what they want to do with it. Okay, is there a question on the chat form? It logged me out. I'm just getting in and frozen. Okay. So possibly, ma'am, you need to watch this recording again, but we just succeeded in answering your question in making, let me undo this so that you will not get confused. In making the first 2 chapters Roman numeral style, while the remaining pagination continues in the Greek or Latin numbering style. Okay, that was what we just did. And then while you were coming back in, I said because we inserted a section break to help us separate these first 2 pages so that we can rename the styling in the styling we want. It is not just about the styling also, even the orientation can change. Okay, if we ask it to do a landscape for us, because these 2 sections have been separated from the previous ones, it can change the layout. I'm not sure about coloring, but let me see. If I say, where is design? Okay. If I say color the page, I don't know if it will affect everything, but let's try. Okay, this one didn't work. Okay. But pagination and orientation will work. And remember again, even this one, if I select the pagination, I can still change the size. It's 10 right now. I can make it big, okay, as big as I want, while maintaining, hold on, while maintaining the size for the Greek numbering system. This one is still on 10. This one is on, is it 16 that I made it now? So I can just do anything I want once I insert a section break. I can play around with the previous pages the way I want. Okay. Okay, questions, please. Our time is fast drawing. Any question? That is that about formatting, especially pagination and table of content. Someone was asking, I don't remember if it is in this group, that can she just simply do her table of content manually? Will Amazon kick the book out? Well, for formatting sake, you can choose to do your table of content manually. That is, type chapter 1, type the name of the chapter, put the pagination where it is, but there is a risk. One, if that book is bulky, you have like 200, 300, 400 pages, and then you have like 32 chapters. You can easily get confused. You might think you just saw chapter 16 on page 101, but actually you saw it on 100 or 103. You can get mixed up. Then another thing is that when you do your table of contents using the styling template, automatically the styling template converts your table of content into a link. You see my cursor resting on chapter 2, and then you see it saying Control plus click to follow the link. If I place my cursor here and I do Control and I click, sorry, I select the chapters and then I click. This is what happened. It takes me straight to chapter 2. Let me try with chapter 4. Select it again. Select the entire chapter 4. Hold down my control button, click. It takes me straight to chapter 4. Okay. So if you have a book that has lots of chapters and lots of pages, your reader will not want to be scrolling down, down, down. He's looking for chapter 4. He has to scroll down, 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 down to go and get chapter 4. And then observe where chapter 4 and 24, for example, starts on what page. And then he starts scrolling again manually to go and locate the page. All he has to do is to go to your table of content, locate that chapter 24, and just click it, highlight it, click it if it is in Word form, and it will take him straight to the page where chapter 24 is located. If the book is in PDF form, he or she doesn't need to select the entire chapter. Once he takes his cursor or she takes her cursor there, it will come up as a link, and then he'll just tap, and straight the page where the chapter starts will pop up, and then the person can continue reading straight from there. So it makes your job professional. It makes it easier for your readers to navigate their way around your book. Okay, you don't want to place a book there out there that people will have to sweat, come up with headaches just to read your book. Everybody is looking for the easiest way to get things done. Okay, a well-formatted book is interesting it sustains interest, and it's just easy for people to work with. And nobody wants a book that is difficult to navigate around. And that's why formatting is very key. It is important we learn the skill of formatting, because that is even one of the first points of our marketing. Well-formatted book helps to bring readers back every now and then. Okay, my time spent. I think I have the opportunity to take one question, if there is. Otherwise, I can allow us to go rest and continue in the festive mood and celebration. Any question? Madam Salamatu in particular, is she around? I really need to know that I have answered your question, because you said that's where you are stuck. You were making progress until you got stuck in this aspect. And since then, you have been there. But I want to believe that today's class will help to release you so that you can continue with your project. Okay, is she the one replying on the chat group? Okay, thank you, Dr. Adebayo. Mommy Mary. Thank you, ma'am. Well done, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. So in the absence of any question, I think I would love to dismiss us now. Thank you. Okay, let me just stop sharing my screen. All right. So thank you, our GM, for giving us this platform. You know, he could have chosen to be on vacation too, but the desire for this man to see that we get the much needed help and skills to upscale our business still made him come around and open the platform for us. Thank you, Coach Ajisafe. Thank you, Mr. Bako, Mr. Tunde, and Dr. Mrs. Mary Adebayo, who turned up today. I really appreciate you. And even in absentia, Mrs. Salama too, who asked the question, and we had to take this special class because of the questions she asked. Thank you, people, for coming around. I really appreciate you, and I pray for a very successful 2026 for us, in spite of the uncertainties, surrounding the tax reform, increase in fuel price, and all of that. My prayer is that God will make an exception for each and every one of us. Even if things are hard, somehow God will preserve us and make it easy for us. Thank you for coming, and I will see you in 2026 by God's grace. Thank you, GM.